Welcome back to Life's Challenge. My name is Avital, and this week we have the double Parshas of Matot-Masei. And Parshat Matot-Masei really emphasizes the importance of the Jewish people defending and supporting the state of Israel. So Parshat Matot really focuses on the Jewish people going to battle with Midian. The Jewish people needed to go to battle against a lot of nations on their way to entering the land of Canaan, which is modern-day Israel. And Parshat Masei, by contrast, focuses on how the land of Israel the land of Canaan, would be divided up amongst tribes. As you might recall, the land of Canaan was going to be divided by each tribe was going to receive a portion of the land based off of the number of people belonging to that tribe. So it really lays out the groundwork for the way that the land was going to be divided. But we see a really interesting interaction between the tribes of Reuben and Gad, and they come to Moses and Eleazar with a very interesting request, which is as follows. The children of Reuben and the children of Gad had abundant livestock, very great. They saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, and behold, the place was a place for livestock. They came to Moses and Eleazar and said, if we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants as a heritage. Do not bring us across the Jordan. So this is very interesting. Basically, that the tribes of Reuben and Gad, they had the livestock. Perhaps they were shepherds, perhaps they were breeding the animals, but they had livestock. And they saw this land that was outside of Canaan, outside of the land that God was going to give to the Jewish people as their heritage. And they said, this is the place for us. Like, this is the land. This is great for our livestock. This is where we want to be. Moses responds and he said, shall your brothers go out to battle while you settle here? Meaning like, okay, but your brothers, all the other tribes are still going to have to go fight the other tribes and the other nations so that they can inherit the land of Canaan. Are you really going to leave them to go out and battle for themselves? Are you not going to help them in this? And Moses goes on to basically express his concerns to Reuben and to Gad's tribes by saying that essentially that it reminded Moses of the incident that we saw many parshas ago of the spies, where God and Moses instruct a leader from each tribe to go out and scope the land of Canaan and come back with a report. And they come back with this report that really scares off the Jewish people from wanting to enter the land of Canaan. And because of that, their punishment was that generation died out in the desert and that they didn't actually end up in Canaan, but rather their children did. So Moses is saying, oh no, is this what's happening again? Are we once again on the precipice of entering the land and you're telling me you don't want it? And not only that you don't want it, but you're probably going to inspire other people not to want this land? And so to this, the tribe of Reuben and the tribe of Gad, they respond, pens for the flock shall we build here for our livestock, and cities for our small children. We shall arm ourselves swiftly in the vanguard of the children of Israel until we have brought them to their place, and our small children will dwell in the fortified cities before the inhabitants of the land. We shall not return to our homes until the children of Israel will have inherited, every man his inheritance. For we shall not inherit with them across the Jordan and beyond, for our inheritance has come to us on the east bank of the Jordan. And to that, Moses responds that if the men do as they say, that they will, when they arm themselves and they go out and they fight against these other nations, and they don't return to their own homes outside of this original plan until all the other tribes have inherited and settled in their lands, then that new portion, this land on the other side of the Jordan, will become their inheritance. It will become their heritage. And the land will be divided amongst the remaining 10 tribes. And if they don't, Moses says, it's going to be like they sinned against God because they didn't go and support their brethren and they didn't go and help them in this time of need. And so what I thought was a very beautiful thing about this, when the tribes of Reuben and the tribes of Gad say, for we will not inherit with them across the Jordan and beyond, for our inheritance has come to us on the east bank of the Jordan. What I thought was so beautiful is that we now today. Canaan is now the land of Israel. And we as Jewish people have this deep-seated connection to the land. It is our heritage. It is our portion. But not all of us feel inspired, driven, have a desire to live in Israel. But what the Torah is teaching us is that is okay, and at the same time, it's okay so long as we are supporting the land of Israel. The land of Israel needs to be defended, it needs to be protected, it needs to be supported in all of these different ways, and that we have an obligation on ourselves as Jewish people to support our brothers and our sisters who are in Israel, and to defend the land, and to defend all of those who dwell and have inhabited that land. Even if it's not what we want for ourselves, we have to recognize the importance of Israel on the grander scheme of things. And this picture of it's the portion for the Jewish people, it's their safe haven. When there's anti-Semitism in so many parts of the world, when Jews need to flee, that they can go to Israel. It's our homeland. We've inherited it, same as everyone else, even if we've chosen not to live there. And not only that, but Israel is, when you look at sort of the world, Israel is always one of the first countries to come to aid of all people. They have an incredible when you hear about a natural disaster, and first people on the ground are going to be people from Israel. And when there is a crisis with Jews in other parts of the world, just think about how many flights there have been to bring Ethiopian Jews to Israel. Israel supports the Jewish people in a way that no one else ever has or probably ever will. And so it is our obligation as Jewish people to defend and support this land, even if it's not our dream to be there, even if we don't fully understand it, or even if we don't fully align with everything that happens there. This Parsha is teaching us that we cannot sit down when our brothers are battling. We cannot settle. How can we be content when there is work that needs to be done there? And so I think that it's a very beautiful case that this week's Parsha makes for all Jewish people to support Israel, again, even if it's not our personal dream. So I think that's a very beautiful lesson we can learn from Parshat Matot-Masei. And I wish you all a wonderful week and a Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.